Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Patrick Graham, and I'm the publisher of the Galveston County Daily News. And I'm very pleased and very proud to be able to welcome you here tonight to the Galveston County Daily News' Candidate Forum. Tonight we're going to be hearing from candidates in two races. First up will be our sheriff's race, followed shortly thereafter by our district clerk's race. These are two key races that will be on all of our ballots here in the upcoming election. You know, it's very important to hear from the candidates firsthand, and we're very pleased and very proud to be able to give you that opportunity tonight. Because remember, you're trying to decide who you're going to honor with your vote, and you're going to get that opportunity starting on Monday. Okay? Early voting starts Monday, Election Day, November 6th. At this time, I'd like to introduce the moderator, TJ Alls. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the format tonight, ground rules for the candidates, as well as for the crowd. TJ, take it away.
Thank you, Patrick. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As I asked you all earlier, if you have a cell phone with you, make sure it is turned off during this session. The format works as this. Each of the candidates drew numbers before we started, and the candidate who drew the number one will get the first part of the forum to do an intro, and will get the first question. The second candidate will get that first question second, and then they'll rotate it. Who gets asked the question first? We'll go through all the questions, and at the end, each candidate gets a 3-minute close, and the candidate who did not open the forum gets to start things off for the close. The answers will be 90 seconds that they will have. However, if both candidates are going on and we think there's as a moderator, I have the discretion of saying, well, let's talk about that issue more because both of y'all may have not had enough time, and so we'll say another 90 seconds to each of the candidates to finish off the answers. If during our forum, one of the candidates makes an allegation against the others that he doesn't have a chance to respond to, as moderator, I will have the opportunity to say, hang on, 90 seconds to respond to that, if it's some fresh allegation that comes up. The candidate doesn't need to use the whole 90 seconds to answer their question. If they can say yes or no, and then they want to talk about another subject for the remainder of their 90 seconds, they can do so. The 90 seconds is important to tell the crowd here. If we ask you to hold off any of your cheering, and no booing at all, please, during the program until the candidate has finished his answer fully. Because if you cheer and he stops for that, you're eating up that 90 seconds time that he has. We're not going to stop it for applause section. We also are going to strictly enforce, we haven't had to worry about this anywhere, anyone who disrupts the proceedings out here. And also please no holding up signs or anything from that. Everybody have the rules and the format down? Any questions? Good, we'll get started. Let me bring up our candidates first. Please welcome up the Democratic candidate for Galveston County Sheriff, Mr. John Pruitt. And the Republican candidate, Mr. Henry Trosset. And if we can ask that everyone please stand, I'll lead you in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Candidates? Again, welcome to you for coming out. Thank you all for joining us here tonight. As we said, we drew lots beforehand. John Pruitt drew the number one. So, John, you get the intro to start.
Are you ready? Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming again.
John, sorry, if you can get close to the mic. We can't hear you there.
You told me not to move the mic. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming tonight. I think this is our last round in front of the citizens to make our push for Sheriff of Galveston County. My name is John Pruitt. I'm a second-generation deputy sheriff with 29 years experience. I am the other Democrat running for Sheriff of Galveston County. I'm currently a captain assigned to the Identification Crime Records Division. I'm responsible for the Training Division and a computer system that manages over 2,000 users daily. I hold a Master's Peace Officer certification, Master Jailer. I'm a certified Senior Crime Scene Analyst. I'm also the senior fingerprint examiner for the Sheriff's Office, as well as attending schools such as the FBI National Academy, the Law Enforcement Management Institute, and a whole other arrangement of classes that provide me the opportunity for both management and other skills within the Sheriff's Office. I have a wife, Karen, that I've been married to for 25 years, and I have two sons, John Pruitt III, who we call Trey, and I also have Jordan. Thank you.
Hi, Henry. You have 3 minutes.
Hello, my name is Henry Esat, and I'm the Republican candidate for sheriff. I would appreciate your vote in November. Early voting starts October 22nd. I'm a lifelong resident of Galveston County. Been married to my wife in 4 months for 30 years. I have 3 children, 7 grandkids. That's part of the reason I would like to extend my employment here with the Sheriff's Office, because I enjoy serving you, the citizens of Galveston County, and I want to keep your family and mine safe. December, I'll have 29 years with the Sheriff's Office. I'm also a graduate of the Law Enforcement Command College, the FBI National Academy. I hold a Master's Jailer's License, Master's Peace Officer's License, and an Instructor's License. I'm over 4 divisions. I'm a Criminal Law Enforcement Bureau Commander as a Major. I have the Patrol Marine Division. I have the CID, the Investigators, the Special Crimes Auto Theft Task Force Division. I have the Warrant Civil Division and the School Liaison Contracts for Texas City, Dickinson, and CCISD. And I would appreciate your vote in November. Thank you very much.
All right, gentlemen, if you look ahead of you, you'll see John Flowers. He is our timekeeper for today. He has cards that will tell you when you have 30 seconds, 10 seconds, and the dreaded 0. When that comes up, I'll let you finish the sentence you're in, but after that, no new starts. So, we'll start our questioning. John, you'll get the first question here. This is the drawing on the lots. Some have argued that the sheriff's deputy should have civil service protection. Do you agree with that? Why or why not?
This question has come up many times during the forums, and I've always stood against it. And the principal reason being is that based on the qualifications, or based on the population of Galveston County, we cannot do it. That's the first thing. The second reason is, in truth, the Commissioner's Court can enact it if they wish to, but you have to have 51% of the Galveston County employees, not the Sheriff's Office. It's 51% of everyone who works in county government to do so. The other thing is, by doing such a thing, you actually essentially would work for the Commissioner's Court as well as the elected official, the sheriff. Now, is there a need for it? No. Many people think that it's going to help with compensation and you'll get more money. My position on that is, if you want more money, get out in the community and work with the community, and they'll give you what you want and what you need. The other thing is, a good sheriff who doesn't lead with fear and intimidation, and that is fair about the processes in which he does, will keep his people happy, and there's no need for civil service at that point.
Henry, same question for you. You have 90 seconds.
I don't feel civil service would be effective in our agency. Again, we don't have the population in Galveston County to support that. And number 2, the employees of Galveston County, if the money would be spent on civil service, they need to put that money in their pocketbooks, not towards civil service. Civil service costs way too much to implement and extremely expensive to maintain. The citizens of Galveston County, the taxpayers of Galveston County, are not going to want to implement and fund that kind of a support program, and it would just not be, like John said, for our agency. It would be all of the county employees. Doesn't matter if they work in the tax office or anywhere. So no, I do not believe that civil service is a good program for our employees.
All right. Next question, Henry, you'll get to answer this first. How would you rate the amount of money and the level of resources devoted to patrolling the unincorporated areas of Galveston County? and what changes would you make?
Well, the level of resources that we're spending on County of Galveston patrols at this point hasn't increased in over 12 years. We got 3 traffic units about 12 years ago, and that's the last time any increase has been in patrol. We need to increase that, and I've got a program that I'd like to put into place, and our deputies are probably going to hear about it first time tonight. We're going to do a number count every shift. There's going to have to be cross-training from the jail personnel in other areas to where each shift there's going to be a count for ratio deputy for 48 to 1. Once we know the ratio's there and our mandate's met in the jail, we can take those extra employees, let them call the patrol sergeant, and put them on the street during that shift. Each time, each shift, each day, we can continue that program. If today we have 2 extra deputies that aren't needed from the numbers in the jail, we'll put them on patrol. It's not going to cost the taxpayers 1 extra penny. Now, if the jail numbers increase, that day there might not be any extra patrol personnel. But I'm almost certain when the time of year approaches that we have extra patrols, we can put them on the street. And that number needs to grow, and it can.
All right. John, same question.
Repeat the question, please.
Sure. How would you rate the amount of money and the level of resources devoted to patrolling the unincorporated areas of Galveston County, and what changes would you make?
Okay, thank you. As far as the unincorporated area and the patrolling aspect, there's not enough money spent on that. We all know that. The unincorporated area lags behind. Now, with the computer system that we have and we maintain, we have the ability to do tracking and crime mapping to determine where the hot spots are and where we need to focus our attention. I think we should focus on the technology we have to do so. With that information, we can target patrols if we need to. The other thing is, we at one point had a good reserve division that was fully staffed, who took on a brunt of that responsibility for the county at no cost, or for limited cost. Now, as a taxpayer, I'm kind of curious to want to know why there's a surplus of manpower in the jail, then why would we be paying the people that we are now to work in a reserve program and do other things? So, I mean, it's good that we have extra people because I plan on using them then if we can. But as far as the unincorporated areas, we can take and use our reserve program. We can take and move people around, focus on our rover units to accomplish what we need to do in the unincorporated areas.
All right. John, you'll be the first to answer this question. What are your plans for handling the sex offender program within the Galveston County Sheriff's Office? And explain how and why you would implement any change or policies that would be taking place.
Keeping in mind that I was the one that developed the sex offender program when Sheriff Poore took over because of the need. The Sheriff's Office originally, the Identification Division has always been responsible for that program. In that program, we've tried everything we could. We tried using patrol, we tried using warrants, we tried using reserves. We also tried having one individual from the reserve program come in, and that was all their job, was 16 hours a month. Considering we have 190 sex offenders in Galveston County in the unincorporated areas that we're responsible for. Now, one of the other things that you need to look at, is there a need for this? Yes. Is there a need for an increase? Yes. You have one female officer managing 190 people in the unincorporated area. Along with that, and coupled with that, we have 85 open sexual assault cases right now in the agency. So not only do we need the sex offender program to continue, we need to add more people, or this surplus that we have, find someone in this surplus from the jail or wherever and put them in and create a sex offender program or a sex crimes unit and put some more people so we can attack these 85 open cases that we have in the agency.
Henry, same question, 90 seconds.
Yes, sex offender compliance does need to be brought into control, especially with those 85 cases. It's something I think the taxpayers need to be made aware of, and you, the public. 6 months ago, Sheriff Poore removed the sex offender program from underneath his command and placed it underneath mine because my opponent was unable to command that division.
All right, gentlemen. As I had said, John, you get a chance to respond to that.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something about me. I don't mind ruffling feathers, and I don't mind upsetting people, but let me tell you, when you work for a political office, the wrong people that you upset, the wrong people you make mad, things happen to you. That program is running.
Ladies and gentlemen, please withhold.
That program is running fine. We've had, when it was under my command, we had over 50 arrests. But because I upset somebody and I didn't do the politically right thing, it got taken up from me. And I think that's a question that should be directed to Sheriff Poore. It needs to come back where it belongs because I created it.
Let's expand on that a little bit, because you had said, the question was, what would you do now with the program? Mr. Tross said, so Henry, why don't you expound on that a little bit? You actually had some time left on your time.
Again, it does need to be expanded, and more emphasis needs to be placed on sex offenders, especially through the websites and different areas of our agency. What I'm letting the public know is that he was unable to manage the program through his leadership skills, and it had to be removed. And the public needs to know that those kind of things are going to occur because he upset someone. What is he going to do with the public?
Okay. So there's no adjustments to the program you would make then?
No, the program does need to be expanded, and we do need to have more emphasis, especially on cyber crimes and stuff like that, because people are working and using getting these sex offenders and these child through these programs on the internet, and especially the ones that are living in unincorporated areas, period, that are just roaming free.
All right. Next question. Henry gets this first. What division do you see needing the most change? You may have answered that already. And what change is needed?
The division right now with the most personnel that seems to be the most upset is a jail. I've been listening to several of the employees, a numerous number of the employees, and they do not like the way it's ran. And that area needs to be adjusted, and I think it should be. Right now, I'm not a particular fan of the fact that you can be a 20-year employee, call in sick one time in 10 years, and you have to bring a doctor slip. I don't think that's fair for our employees. Areas like that need to be adjusted and changed. We need to target the individuals that are abusing the system, and the ones that are conforming to it need to be left alone. So right now, I think the most emphasis, which is, like I said, the $20 million budget and the most employees we have, is our jail. And that's where the most change needs to grow from.
All right. John, same question to you.
There's no doubt there's problems in the jail. It needs to be addressed. But you know what? In the jail, it's fine as far as, don't take that the wrong way, those of you working in corrections. It needs to change. But what I'm saying is this. We can make those subtle adjustments there because I'm worried about the safety of the employee first and foremost. But what I want to do is, what I'm worried about is the safety of you, the citizens. Now, my opponent tells you that my job was taken away, whatever. Okay, but I think the one division that needs some work and needs some adjustment is the criminal investigation division, so we can go ahead and focus on the outstanding cases that are open that involve property crime and everything else that my opponent is a commander over, or you know, his 120 people that he supervises. So I think as far as that goes, I think CID, who investigates cases, we have these 85 cases open, I think that's important. The jail's going to work the way it is, and we'll do what we need to do, and I'll do what I need to do to work with the employees to make it safe and to do what we need to do that's fair to them. But as far as the public goes, with patrol and with CID, I think that's one area that needs to be addressed. Not really the jail. That'll work itself out.
We may have a couple of these throughout the night now. So since it was directed in his response to you, and you started off first, Henry, 90 seconds to address that particular issue about CID only. Don't go off that, please.
Well, we can go back and forth all day. There has been no elevation in our employees in Galveston County Sheriff's Office unless it's the jail, which is mandated by the government, or should we say our state jail standards, or our school liaison program, which are contract employees. There has been no increase in employment in our agency except for those two programs. Everywhere in our agency needs to be looked at and addressed. Everywhere in our agency. If we need one or two more investigators, that's fine. If we need one or two more patrolmen, I think we can work that out inside within our realms of our employment of our agency also. But we've got 267 employees in our jail. That's going to have to be the main focus. It's a $20 million hickey to the county taxpayers.
All right. John, this will go to you first. Explain how aggressive you would, as sheriff, be in combating illegal game rooms that operate within Galveston County.
There's no doubt that the game rooms are an illegal operation, but what the citizens need to understand too, and that may culminate into some of the problems with CID, it takes a long time to investigate a game room. You have to follow the money. You have to start at the beginning, you have to get in, work it, find probable cause, establish it, and then go forth with the district attorney, get all the necessary documents, search warrants, and whatnot. Although it's an illegal operation, you know, that's what I've always said. I wonder why, if it's so illegal, why I always have to go and work a robbery or a burglary at a game room when they're not even supposed to be operating, but yet we do that. How aggressive would I be? We'd still work them, but it's not as important to me as working property crime and working these sexual assaults and things of that nature that we know is a real problem. We know the whole reason we have any problem and any crime is drugs. Drugs are the main problem. I'd rather focus my attention on drugs and property crime than worry about the game rooms. Even though they're operating illegally, I cannot devote all of CID's time to working a game room.
Henry, same question to you, 90 seconds.
He is correct. It takes a lot of time, a lot of investigative hours to work one of those game rooms. You've got to do a lot of detailed investigation, infiltrate them, game them, play them, win at them, to even for us to go to the district attorney and get the warrants to work on them. It takes a lot of resources. That's why there's probably so many in our county, because we do not have the personnel or the manpower because of the 85 outstanding cases, and those are the individuals that are doing those. So I have to agree with him. It's a work in progress, but it cannot be the main function of their agency.
All right, Henry, you'll get this one first. Are there any programs within the sheriff's office that should be cut? If so, which ones?
None that I can think of. We've cut over $4 million out of our budget so far since Hurricane Ike. I cannot imagine of one division that's in our agency that hasn't been already cut or eliminated that needs to be, so no.
All right, John?
There are none to be cut.
All right, John, you get this first. Are there any programs you would like to add to the sheriff's office? Explain what the program would do, and explain how you would get the funding for it.
Well, one of the things that I talked about to many people is restorative justice. You know, when we talk about the illegal crimes, the narcotics, house burglaries, property crime, and things of that, the root evil is, majority of the time, that these individuals don't have an education. We have an opportunity with the jail. When these men and women come to jail, the one program I'll add is back to bring the GED program back, and we have a skills building that's called Skills, and bring back a program to where we can offer a skill base. My focus is, if I can bring an individual in who has no education, provide them an education, get them that GED, and provide a skill base and get them a certificate from one of the colleges, maybe, just maybe, we can prevent one of you or one of my family from being a victim. If we get them an education, they walk out the door with a GED. There are many companies in this county, believe it or not, who will hire ex-offenders. So we need to focus on educating those men and women who sit over there in that jail. If they have it and they need it, let's do it. So that's one of the major programs that I'm looking at doing, is bringing back a GED program and bringing a skills program to the sheriff's office, so hopefully we can educate one person. If that's all it does, we've done a good job. We can send them out and let them be as successful as we are, but we're chipping away at the crime.
All right. Several areas I'd like to expand on. First of all would be to try to get with all the other agencies in our county and implement the drug task force back into play. Implemented, and we need to revolve in our county, revolve around drugs. So we need to curtail it from the start. I would like to expand our skills unit. We've got inmates that can go and mow the grass at every county facility. We've got inmates that can go clean up at the $5 million animal facility in Texas City. We shouldn't have to have a contractor to mow the grass on 21st Street.
Henry, you'll get this one first. The county jail is the biggest expense in the sheriff's office. Now, we've addressed this in some parts, but this is more specifically on what would you do as sheriff to control costs. 90 seconds.
Well, it's an ever-moving target. The county jail, depending on who wants to come visit our county during the summer months compared to the winter months, our numbers always go down during the winter and always go up during the summer. So that target has to be continuously looked at. Our main focus in the jail is our personnel, but we're mandated for 48-to-1 ratio per inmate per deputy. We spend over $3 million on our contract for the medical. We spend $1.2 million or so for food. So as we arrest more individuals, the jail numbers are going to go up, which means the contracts are going to increase. If the jail numbers go down, then we're going to save money in there. It's very difficult at this time to say, I'm going to cut this program in our county jail, or how are we going to, we're mandated through jail standards, and it's very difficult to look at anyone and say, I'm going to cut this one program from our jail. Overtime is our big function. Overtime is the only thing you can control in that area. But again, that goes to the amount of employees that we have and the amount of inmates that's in our jail.
All right. John, same question for you. 90 seconds.
Okay. As far as controlling costs, again, we're mandated. We know that. We have to have the ratio, and we have the contracts that, yeah, you can tweak them here and there, lowest bidder and things of that nature, and that's fine. But let's get away from controlling costs. Let's generate revenue. Let's focus on generating revenue. How can we do that? Well, we already do that through commissary. We got over $1 million in that account right now that can only be used for inmates. So we can use that money to push off and buy some of the materials. Second off, we're looking at working on video visitation. You live in Dallas, your son's in jail down here, you want to visit him? Fine. Get on video, get on the web, sign up, we get a little proceed, you get to visit your son or daughter. Not a problem. The other thing is, you know, I've been asked about the medical side of it, co-pays and whatnot. So are those programs we need to look at to see if we can recoup some money and some loss? Yes. So controlling costs, that's one aspect of it, but we should be focused on how can we generate some revenue out of the people that are incarcerated in our jails.
Thank you, sir. All right, John, you'll get this question first. What is the role of the sheriff's office in enforcing immigration laws? Specifically, how would you safeguard the rights of citizens of Hispanic descent?
It's amazing that that question always focuses on individual of Hispanic.
But the problem, we'll revise it. How would you anyone that doesn't look white?
I'll accept that answer better.
All right.
Listen, right now, currently, when any individual is brought into the Galveston County Jail, because we are a central site booking facility, every individual is fingerprinted. Anyone who is wanted by any organization, agency, policeman, whatever, federal government, if they're wanted, we are notified and sent a detainer. That is the most fair and equitable way to do this. We pick no certain class, we pick no individual based on whether they're rich, poor, white, black, yellow, green. Everyone who walks through that door is fingerprinted, and if the government or any other agency wants them, we're notified and we apply a detainer. Now, should we put a program together and go out there and drive around and find these off-colored people, if you will? I say no. We're doing an effective job right now. Every officer out there does it every day. So we don't really need to expound on it. It's being done. We don't need to attack one group or any group. Let's do it the way we've been doing it. It works. If we need to tweak it, we will, but I don't want to be responsible to the government for their program.
Times. Same question to you, Henry.
He's correct. If you violate a law and you're taken to jail, it shouldn't matter what color you are. Once you're brought in a facility, they are fingerprinted. They're identified. And if they're wanted or if they're not a legal citizen of our country, then immigration's instantly notified for them to come and pick them up. We do not need to go racially profiling, driving around the community picking up individuals. Thank you.
Just a quick follow-up to that, because both of y'all mentioned the program where immigration is alerted. And since John, you can answer this first, and then Henry, how responsive has Immigration and Customs Enforcement been when received phone calls from the jail here?
They're receptive, and we do receive detainers to hold. When the fingerprints are sent, there's a system in place, not here at the Sheriff's Office, but actually through the system, and it notifies the INS, for instance, and we'll talk about them. It'll notify them that we are holding someone that they're concerned about or that they want. At that point, they'll send us a detainer. They'll contact us by phone and send a detainer, and we'll hold them. But we do have people that are being detained, yes.
All right. Henry?
Exactly what you said. Matter of fact, somebody mentioned the 287C or the program that some of my prior colleagues that were running against me brought up. We at this agency are very fortunate to have what other areas and other agencies are going to. We have a good program in place and it works.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Henry, you'll get this question first. 90-second response. Do you have relatives, including relatives by marriage, who work for the Sheriff's Office? What would your policy be regarding supervising and promoting family members within the Sheriff's Office?
Well, yes, I do. I've got 3 relatives that currently work at the Sheriff's Office. Joe Max Taylor hired all 3 of them. One of my brothers was a 25-year veteran. The other brother's been, I believe, there 20 years. And I have a cousin that started at the Sheriff's Office back about 1980. Left, went to Galveston PD, retired from Galveston PD. Gene Leonard rehired him, and he's been there about 6 years now. I've checked, before I began running for office, I checked with legal, and there's a statute in play that as long as they're not hired within 1 year of my election, then they're able to stay with the agency. Now, their position is froze. It's in the government code. Their position is froze. They can no longer be promoted. Matter of fact, they cannot even get a merit raise if one's given through the county. And they've both been informed of this. At least they don't have to lose their job. But they can get cost of living across the board, but no merit raises, and they can never get a promotion as long as either I'm a sheriff or they're employed there.
All right. John?
I only have one relative by marriage.
Who works for the office?
works for the sheriff's office. He's assigned to the jail. Been there 14 years. It's Andrew Johnson.
And what is your policy regarding, what would your policy be if elected regarding relatives of any form?
He works for the agency, but no, I'm not. He won't get special treatment. He'll be just like anyone else and go through everything that we have to do. He won't get special treatment.
All right. All right, gentlemen.
Sorry, Bo.
John, you'll get this first. If elected, what will be your first point of business?
If elected, what's going to be my first course of business? To develop a new new command staff. I'll rework the command staff and choose those individuals not for political gain or reason, not for favoritism, but I'll choose a command staff that will share in my vision and my goals to help protect you, the community, and to do a good job. Sometimes you have to cut your losses, unfortunately, but that's my position. But that's going to be my first difficult decision, is those people who are going to be removed from command and those individuals that I'll reassign to command.
All right. Henry, same question for you.
I have a clarification. Is this after being elected November 6th, or is this after swearing in?
And swearing in January, correct. That's a fair point. That's a fair point.
After election November 6th, I'm going on vacation.
All right, but no, once you take office.
That is, first of all, you've got to place your command staff into positions that's going to benefit the agency and the community. That's going to be the main function, the main focus, January 1st. And we've got to make sure that the agency's taken care of, that the employees are taken care of, and that the citizens are taken care of. I'm going to be everybody's sheriff. It doesn't matter if Republican, Democrat, Tea Party, I've got to be everybody's sheriff, and I intend to be. Thank you.
All right, again, we want to thank you both for coming out tonight. Time now for closing statements. As we had said before, each one of you gets 3 minutes for your closing statement. And Henry, you get to go first.
Again, I want to thank y'all for coming out tonight. I want to thank the Galveston Daily News for having us. This is probably about the 9th or 10th forum I've had to go to in the last 2 years. Well, 19 days or so till the election, and I would appreciate your vote. I've been at this agency, December will be 29 years. I've loved every minute working for you, the citizens, and the employees, and I enjoy my job. The difference between both of us is how we're going to manage and lead this agency. And I've shown you, and I've proven to you, and if you'd like to talk to me more, I'd meet you out in the hall. Joe Max Taylor, Gene Leonard, and Freddie Poore have all promoted me, given me new job assignments. I'm currently over 120 employees because of them and my leadership ability. I've taken many management training courses because I knew sooner or later I'd want to be your sheriff of Galveston County. I would appreciate your vote. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, I didn't promote up to a major in the sheriff's office because I was out in the field working for you. I was out working crime scenes where people were murdered and their lives taken, so I could go sit in a courtroom and testify and be their voice. Unfortunately, that was my goal in life, and that's what I chose to do. Seeing that I wanted to become sheriff, I started focusing on my management skills. Now, if we want to talk about supervision, I manage a $3 million computer system with over 2,000 people a day, 13 agencies. So, do I have the ability to keep a system running and keep people up and working? I think I do. Is we're going to focus just on how many people I work with at the sheriff's office. I manage and work with many people. I want to be your next sheriff. I stayed the course. I didn't change. I knew who I was when I started this race, and I'll stay that individual when I leave it. I will tell you this, I want to be your sheriff. I can do the job. I have the skill and the ability. I've been out on the streets. I've been to all the agencies. I know the problems and I know where they exist. And I told you, I don't mind ruffling feathers because I'll get the job done. That's the bottom line. That's what you want in a sheriff. I don't want a job to go sit in the corner and not do anything and be productive. I want to come out and work in the streets, talk to you, visit with you, and make sure your family's safe with all these divisions and things that we manage. That's what I want to be for your next sheriff. So I ask you on November the 6th, do the right thing, hire me to be your next sheriff, and you know what, in 4 years, if I don't make it, and I didn't do you a good job, then you get rid of me. But give me the opportunity on November the 6th to show you not only could I be the voice of those victims, I can be your voice.
Thank you both for coming out. We'd like to thank you all for coming out today. Now, we have a short break for about 15 minutes or so. Our district clerk candidates, John Kennard and LaTonya Wilson, will be coming up here in about 15 minutes. Please stick around for that. A reminder that this debate was being streamed live, but it is also archived on our website at gallupnews.com, so you can watch it. Early voting starts Monday. Thank you all very much.